Hi everyone, welcome back to Beyond Ballin with LaLa. I'm LaLa and this is Beyond Ballin. So we're just gonna wait for a few people to get in here. I'm gonna tag my name. How do you pin this? So where's everybody from while we're waiting? We have a very special guest coming on the show today. So many people are requesting to get on live. New Jersey, okay. Memphis. I'm guessing that's Texas. Okay, so we're pretty spread out. What's NZ? NZ? What's NZ?
Nebraska.
Nevada.
Nevada.
Nevada? No.
New Zealand. New
Tennessee.
Zealand.
Florida.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Zambia. Las Vegas. Wow, we have a nice variety of people here. Okay, so we have a very special guest. We have Alysha Clark. She's a WNBA player for the Seattle Storm, and she is a basketball champion. Okay, so we have an amazing person coming on to Beyond Ballin. Now let's see if Alysha's in here. Okay, she's in here. Just gotta find her so I can request. Got it. Hi, Alysha.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. You look so nice.
Oh,
You
thanks.
do.
I was like,
I love your hair pulled back like that. It's so nice.
thank you. I was like, let me at least brush it back today.
You look really good. So thank you so much for coming on today, honestly, and taking
Thank you
the
for
time out.
having me.
No problem. So how has your day been so far?
It's actually been pretty uneventful. Getting some packages dropped off right now, so I was looking at my front porch.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I hung out all morning with my best friend and her son and ate and did my Pilates, and that's about it.
Nice. So I'm going to jump right into the questions because I know
Okay.
everyone's eager to hear from you. So I know that both of your parents are musicians, and actually your brother even tried out for American Idol, which is super cool. What made you want to play basketball?
For me, sports was just like I did music just like everyone else in my family. Sorry, my dog's trying to go outside. I did like choir all through middle school, high school, and then once sports just was kind of something to do after school for me to get out of having to go home and do chores right away.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but originally basketball wasn't my sport. It was volleyball and track. And obviously volleyball's in the beginning, I guess the fall, and track is in the spring. So I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something for the winter. So I was like, you know what, let's try out for basketball. I'll have, workouts to do with the team and I won't have to do it by myself. And that's how I got into basketball.
But what age was that? Was that like middle school?
I mean, I first played basketball in 7th grade because I lived in Kansas at the time, and middle schoolers, you had to be in 7th grade to play sports. So once 7th grade hit, I did every after school sport there was just so I didn't have to go home.
That's awesome.
But it wasn't until freshman year of high school where I really had to try out for a team. Middle school, they just put anybody on the team.
Exactly. That's awesome. I mean, I didn't play any other sport than basketball. I did track because we had to do 2 sports in high school, but I always wished I was I wish I did volleyball. I wish I did soccer or something just so I know,
yeah.
I want to do this, but yeah.
That's how it was. Like when I moved here to Tennessee, basketball is like the mecca. right? And
Yeah.
so my high school, we joke and call it Mount Juliet University because like the basketball program, like the tradition that it had, the winning tradition, and like just the training and stuff. And so when you played basketball at Mount Juliet, you didn't play another sport. It was just basketball. And
Got
here
it.
I come. I'm like, yeah, I play volleyball and I run track. And they're like, no, you don't.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. So what moment was it where you realized, okay, I want to do this for the rest of my life?
It wasn't until my senior year of college where I felt like I even had a chance to do it post,
Wow.
my collegiate career, just because I was such a late bloomer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an option, and
Yes.
so senior year of college, my coach sat me down and was like, listen, you have a chance to play pro.
Wow.
You need to really start thinking about that. And I was like, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And so, once that happened, and I would say once my third year, because I got cut my first 2 years in the WNBA, my third year when I actually made a team and I played overseas, I was like, you know what? I think this is what I want to do. Like, I'm enjoying it. I still have a lot more room to grow.
Yeah.
And, it was just, I was enjoying the journey and the challenge of it all.
Awesome. So would you say that you wouldn't say that you dreamed of playing the WNBA, right? Because you,
No, yeah, I wasn't a sports kid.
yeah.
And sometimes I feel guilty about that because you have these women in the league who've dreamt of this since they were 5 years old. And at 5 years old, I wasn't even thinking about sports, let alone in high school. I was trash. Like, I could pull my best friend over here and ask her to tell you about my first practice. Like, I was trash sophomore year in high school. So like that wasn't, I didn't think that was something I could even attain. And I'm a realist at the same time. And I was like, ooh, yeah, I don't know about that.
No, but I mean, that's amazing to hear, especially for people out there who are late bloomers like you, that it is a possibility.
Yeah, it is.
So did you have mentors or people that kind of helped you once you did decide that you were actually going to do this?
Yeah, I mean, all of my vets that I had, but listen, my first year in Seattle, I had some amazing teammates, right? Like, I had Tanisha Wright and Camille Little, Katie Smith, Lauren Jackson, Tina Thompson. Like, these are my vets, right? And I'm just like a sponge. Like, every practice, every game, whatever, anytime they spoke, I was like
soaking it all in.
Learning from my coach, and just like, so my vets that I've had in the league have been like mentors over the years. Even now, they'll reach out to me after a game or when they see something, just encouraging me. And it's been a blessing. This journey's been amazing. And I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't have those awesome vets to learn from when I first got in the league.
That's amazing. So who was your favorite player growing up? Like, although you didn't think, like, I'm going to play basketball per se professionally, but who was your favorite player to watch?
Again, I didn't watch, like, I just wasn't a sports kid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really about to tell something, and I'm almost like not even wanting to. So the first time I ever saw Michael Jordan play was when he was with the Wizards.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's then.
So like the Last Dance, like, and I'm like embarrassed to say this, but it's the truth.
I mean, it's reality.
Yeah, and the Last Dance, like, this is all like new to me. Like, of course I heard stories, and like as a basketball player, as I started getting into it,
definitely.
like you hear, and it's like, okay, I'm like, duh, I get it. But like watching this, I'm like, and my best friend, she grew up on sports, like the Bulls, you know what I mean? Like, she loved it. And so she is like watching this, like, oh, I remember this. I was here. And I'm over here like, wait, what? He did what? And she's just like loving it. More so my reactions to everything. But, it is what it is. But yeah, I didn't watch sports growing up.
Okay, well, that's real, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine now, because we're here now.
We're here.
Exactly. So what would you say keeps you motivated throughout the entire season? Because it's grueling, and you play overseas. So how do you stay consistently motivated?
I love to be challenged. I love the challenge of it. I love the challenge of sports. And, for me in the beginning stages, it was that learning process, that learning curve of it. Okay, like, because I'm a perfectionist by nature. Like I want to do things and I want to do it well. And so in the beginning, when I was learning, you know, the fundamentals, the basics, I was like, okay, I'm going to master these. Like I want to be the best at front pivot, reverse pivot. Like nobody's going to have better footwork than I'm going to have. And so that's kind of always been my motivation as I've developed. And, you know, like through college, you know, everyone's like, because I played a post my whole career.
Yeah.
And so when I got to the league, they were like, you're going to have to play a guard. And I was like, okay. So, and, you know, I had people like, oh, well, you'll never be able to transition into a guard and play at the pro level. Like, you'll never last. You're not going to make it. You're not going to stick because you're not going to be able. And I was like, oh, word? Like, okay, I'll show you then.
Yeah.
And so that was my driving force in the beginning. And then from there, it was just like, okay, be the best. Because, you know, it's human nature to compare.
Definitely.
So, you know, I'm comparing myself to all these amazing women who've played since they were 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this as well as Maya Moore. I'm not doing this as well as, you know, whoever. And I'm just like, okay, you got to like refocus. You got to like come back to like reality and be like, okay, what got you here? What do you have that they don't have? And you need to be the best at that. And so for me, that's, you know, that's a challenge that I face even now. It's just finding ways that I can constantly get better. And every year I come back to Seattle, I want to be better at something that I wasn't good at last year. And that's every year that I've come back, and I'm going on my 9th year. Yeah. I'm better at something every time I come back. So
that's amazing. That really just touched me, because we do have a need to compare, like in whatever, whether it's sports or just like looks, and you really hit that on the nose that, you know, you are you at the end of the day. So just compare yourself to who you were in the past, not right. That was great.
Yeah.
So I know you transferred in college. You went to Belmont University and then you transferred to Middle Tennessee State. How was that transition?
It was hard because coming into Belmont freshman year, you know, you come in with your classmates that you come in with, and you build that bond. And, you know, we did some awesome things at Belmont University. And to have to get up and leave that, you know, I almost felt guilty in a sense, because I was like, I don't want to leave them behind, you know, and it almost felt like selfish to me. And I'm just, you know, they're just like, no, you have to do what you need to do. Cause that was when I started getting an idea like, okay, I know there's more that I need to be, like, I can be better than where I'm at now. And, you know, I had won player of the year 2 years in a row there. Yeah. You know, we went to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history. Like, so we did some amazing things, and I was like, I know there's more. And so, you know, my teammates were awesome. Like, I'm still, you know, best friends with some of them that I came into school with, and they were like, you need to go and do what you need to do. So when I transitioned to middle, I mean, it was easy. The year I sat out was tough. Yeah. But, you know, I got to practice every day, which was cool. And I was like, okay, now this is the year that I get to kind of have to better myself and, you know, not have to worry about being ready for games or being too tired or whatever. And so it was a good transition.
Awesome. So that's interesting, because I actually transferred. I committed to the University of Buffalo my freshman year, and then I transferred to Hartford. But that's important that you're talking about from Belmont, your staff, friends there, you know, of just like pushing you. Like, what would you say to someone who didn't have that? Because I definitely didn't, you know, it was more so a thing of like, more so pushing the selfish aspect, like you're leaving the team, and then it's scary because, you know, you're going into a new coaching staff. You have to learn a new system, you know, new plays, and coaches talk about things differently, you know what I mean? Like a new lingo. So what advice would you give to someone who is in that position but doesn't have the support that you had?
The one thing I would say is bet on yourself. You know, if nobody else is going to support you and nobody else is going to be there for you, you have to be there for yourself. So take a chance on yourself, you know, and go for it. If it's, you know, it's something that's going to help you excel or help you get to that next level, then do it. You don't need anybody else to tell you it's okay to do it.
Yeah. I love it.
How did you deal with it?
Honestly, it was hard because, like you said, I was leaving my friends, but personally, me and my coach didn't really get along as well as I hoped. So it was a thing of, okay, maybe next year if I stay, it'll get better, or it could get worse. So
Yeah.
for me, it was like, I'm willing to take the gamble and just start over somewhere. And I was just like, I'm just going to leave and just try it out. I mean, I
Yeah.
was a freshman, so it was a little different, because I only had 1 year there. I was just like, okay, like start over again, be the new kid
Yeah.
again. And I don't really mind being the new kid, honestly. So, but it was just different because the buying into a new system, then like you feel like you're taking someone's position or someone's spot who's been there, who they recruited, and then you're the coach that recruited you. It's different.
Yeah.
I just like dealt with it on my own, still dealing with
Yeah.
it probably. Um,
Yeah.
what did you think about the virtual draft? So I know that, the viewership of this draft was amazing. It was like the second highest in WNBA
Yeah.
history. So how did you feel watching it? What do you think?
I thought they did a really great job. It was great that it was on ESPN and not ESPN2. People always are like, oh, well, it's, you guys aren't, there's not enough this and there's not enough that. And it's like, okay, well, give us the chance to be seen. Right. And so the fact that it was on ESPN was awesome. And I thought they did a great job. Like, even having I love family atmosphere. So I love that part was included in it. And, because when you go to the draft, like, you get to bring your parents and whoever with you. I think you could have 3. Like, I brought both my parents and, a boo at the time. And so, they were all at the draft with me. And it's like, yeah, well, they're there. It's not like in the comfort of your own home around your whole family. So to be able to see, these girls have their dreams come true and be surrounded by family, I thought that was awesome. And then, they kept it engaging. I thought they did a great job. It was a great turnout for sure.
I definitely think the same.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be anything that you felt like they could have handled differently under the circumstances, or what do you think?
No, I think they did a great job considering like what they had to work with.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to worry about, lag time. And it was pretty, like, I thought it went smoothly. So it was good. I enjoyed it.
Great job, WNBA, you guys.
Right.
Killed that. So what's been your favorite moment of your entire basketball career?
Winning the championship in 2018.
Ooh, that's a great moment.
Yeah,
so, how did that feel?
Like, I can't even put into it. Felt surreal.
Yeah.
And I don't think I processed it honestly until I was here now, like during quarantine. Because after that, we're there, we're celebrating, we're having parades and doing all this stuff. And then it's like, you're home for a little bit and then boom, off to the next season.
Yeah.
So I left and went to France. So it was just kind of like, and I had just come back from Poland that year. Okay. So it was like, I literally went from winning a championship in Poland to coming to Seattle for, the start of the season, playing through the season, winning a championship, leaving after, 2 weeks after we were done, going to France, playing that entire season in France, winning the championship in France. So it was just kind of like, one right after the next, which I'm grateful for. Like, that's an amazing year. You know what I mean? But it was so surreal. Like, I remember we were on the court, and as the clock was like counting down, and I was just sitting there, like, and I started to like get chills, and I like started to cry, and there's like a minute left, and I just remember Sue saying like, we did it. Wow. And I was just like, because I, as a professional athlete, like, of course the ultimate goal is to win a championship.
Definitely.
But hey E, but you never know if it's actually going to happen. And there's some of the greatest players in the world through, both women and men who played their entire career without one.
Definitely.
So to be on that stage and to be able to reach that pinnacle of my career, I was just like blown away. I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, whoa.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so I mean, I'm a big sap anyway, so I cried a lot.
Yeah. That's good though. We need emotional people.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, I'm a big supporter of that. So how would you say you balance your life, staying girly while playing a male-dominated sport?
I mean, I love being a female. I love, being feminine, and I also love being a tomboy,
Yeah.
you know, so it's just about being comfortable for me.
Yeah.
You know, like some days I'm literally wearing a oversized sweatshirt and like some yoga type pants, but
Yep.
I just threw my hair in a ponytail and it makes me look like whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, for me it's just about being comfortable. Like some days I feel like getting dressed up, doing my makeup, putting on heels, and some days I feel like throwing on my sneakers. And it's like just being comfortable for me. I don't try to fit into any mold of being like, oh, well, you have to be this way, or you need to do this more so people don't like. I don't care. Like if you don't like what I wear, if you don't like how I dress, you don't have to look at me. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to like. Your opinion holds no value in my life. You know, you're not paying my bills every day, so.
You're so right.
But I just whatever I feel that day is what I go. I'm a very moody dresser. Like someday I'm the biggest overpacker in the world.
Really?
Because I dress by mood. Like I could sit here and be like, okay, next weekend I'm gonna pack. Yeah, I'm gonna wear this and this and this. And then like the weekend gets here and I'm like, ugh, I don't have anything to change up. Like I'm not feeling that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I love that. I feel like honestly that's what, before I joined the Beautiful Ballers team and I was just like following the page, that's what I mostly got from it. You know, like playing basketball, so many people have an idea, you know, they try to put people in these categories, in these boxes so that they feel comfortable, you know, I try to say, okay, you play basketball, so you should look like this. And then don't realize that there's like a plethora of, you know, we're so like, it's such a wide variety of athletes, you know, like you can look like anything. You can be beautiful and a beast on the court, you know, there's no, you know, way to do things. So I loved how you
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like for me, it's not that big of a deal. Like, yes, I love like being presentable or whatever, but I know my value. Like, I don't hold all of my value in my looks.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand that my parents, you know, I have great genes. Like, I accept that and whatever. I'm very awkward with compliments. When people compliment me, I'm like, ew, please stop. Like, just, I'm like, okay. Like, it makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, you know, so I've never held my value in my beauty.
Wow.
Because I know I have so much more to offer and I don't want people to assume that that's all I have to offer. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I can, you know, when people are like, oh, you look so different than on the court. I'm like, thank you. Like, I hope I do. Like, I'm an athlete on the court. Like I'm dressed, my hair's, I'm ready to go to battle. Yeah. You know, but when I'm off the court, I'm a person. Like I'm a woman. So I would hope I would be different.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Very well said. So what does your training look like now that we have obviously, you know, we're in quarantine, the coronavirus is happening? What have you been doing?
Girl, it is death.
Really?
Working out when you're not like playing or in season is so much hard. And you probably know this. Like think about your
the Zoom workouts are
like it's so much harder. I'm just like, but I'm over it. Like I'm ready to get back on the court. I'm ready to have, you know, be tired from defensive drills. I'm ready to be tired from whatever. But yeah, I have a strength trainer that I've been with for 7 years. Susan Borchert, the Athlete Blueprint is her. I'm giving her a shout out because she's amazing.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've been working with her for 7 years. She used to be our strength coach for Seattle and then moved to Oregon because her husband went to PT school. And so now they're down there and she has her own company. And so she literally plans out my week. I wish I wasn't. No, whatever. I won't show you. But anyway, on my Google Cal, she'll just like plug in my day for me.
Wow.
And so like the night before I'll go through like for tomorrow, it'll be like, you know, laid out in blocks of what I'm going to do. So I do a lot of Pilates with Core Self Pilates. I do a lot of art train. So it's like a next up from an elliptical because I hate the bike.
Really?
So many people have been getting the Peloton and all these different bikes. I hate spinning.
Oh my God, really?
It's like I cannot do it. Like it is the worst workout for me ever. I'm like, nah. So I do a lot of my cardio there or outside on hills. I have, you know, my TRX and resistance bands that I do for lifts, and I have some dumbbells and med balls. Okay. I'm like the med ball queen. Like You know, it's I like med balls for me. Like I would rather do the TRX and med balls and resistance bands
Yeah.
than lifting weights. And so like I'll do a med ball workout against anybody. Like that's how
Wow.
confident I am because that's
Okay.
like literally all I do.
Nice. That's awesome. You should create a line of med balls. Look,
Yeah.
I'm putting it out in the air. Okay.
Oh gosh.
No, you really said though. I buy them. I would.
Well, thanks.
So, what advice would you give to athletes who, don't have a strength coach as amazing as yours, but still want to stay in shape?
There are tons of online videos and apps like that are free, especially now. Like a lot of apps are giving, workouts or like 2 months membership for free or whatever, and you can always use that kind of stuff. And honestly, you can find anything on YouTube.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like you can, like some of my night yoga stuff is like from a YouTube channel that is free and that's open, but it's there.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the internet now. It's like, okay, if you want to learn how to do a proper squat, YouTube it. If you want to learn how to get your upper body stronger, YouTube it, and you can put in exact words like make my upper body stronger with no equipment and something will pop up for you. So I would say decide what it is that you are wanting to be better at, what you're wanting to be stronger at, and then type it into Google and go to YouTube and take advantage of the free memberships that are being put out right now, or, free access to these types of things because it's there.
Awesome. That makes so much sense. So I know you mentioned that when you were younger, you didn't necessarily dream of being in the WNBA. So what career path did you think that you were going to take? What do you want to do?
There were so many. Okay, so it changed over the years.
Okay.
So I had an obsession, like the little cash registers that you have as a kid.
Yes.
I was obsessed with mine.
Okay.
And so I was like, when I get older, I'm going to be a cashier. Like, this is what I want to be. Like, because I was like a whiz on that thing.
Yeah.
And so like, as I got older, stuff, because I love kids, I've always had a passion for kids. I was like, I want to help kids. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I want to be a pediatrician. Ooh. And like, that was kind of what I saw myself doing. Cause I'm like, I can still help kids. I'm around them, and so that was kind of what I always said. I was like, I'm going to be a pediatrician. So this is what I need. I'm going to be a pediatrician. And so once I got to, once I was in high school and started researching majors for college and stuff, I was like looking at the schedule for, being able to go into that. And I was like,
overwhelming.
There's no way. Yeah. I was like, I can't play basketball and do this. So I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Yeah. So that was what I thought I would be growing up. I was like, I want to be a pediatrician.
Nice.
Yeah. Didn't happen, but
Yeah. My mom always said I should be a doctor because when I was little, I used to run around and try to kiss everyone's boo-boos. But I don't know now. Like you just said, some of my friends were actually in med school while playing basketball, and it's just like almost impossible. Like, I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, kudos to, everyone who's able to do that. I've had obviously teammates who become pharmacists, engineers, and their schedule was insane.
Definitely. It's a different type of dedication. So I know you have a strong desire for philanthropy. And do you have a favorite charity event that you've taken part in or that you started?
I do a lot of work at Seattle Children's Hospital.
Awesome.
It started because we were at a season ticket holder event, and one of the members was like, hey, I work at the hospital. You should come and do visits. I saw that you want to get involved. And I think you would love it. And I was like, okay, sure. And it wasn't until my second year when I saw her again, and she was like, hey, are you going to take me up on that? Do you want to? I was like, actually, yeah. Like, can I, we exchange info. And so I just started going up to Seattle Children's doing visits on the cancer floor because that's where she worked.
Okay.
And so that's how it started. It was once a week. I would go do visits, and what I got from it, because when you go, like this is the thing with philanthropy. A lot of athletes either do it one, it's not that they don't have an interest, but it's like they're obligated to fulfill these hours for, you know, whatever.
Yes.
And I've never wanted that to be the case for me. Whatever I do, it's because I have a genuine passion about it. And it's something that matters to me. And so, you know, I was going up there for visits, you know, for probably 2 years before our organization even knew, you know, about it.
Wow.
And, you know, because I didn't want it to become this thing, right? I didn't want it to become, oh, well, she's up here visiting. And it's like, no, I'm doing it because I want to. But meeting these kids and their families, like I was like, it put like a reality check. Love you. I'll see you later. My niece is leaving and she's so upset. You know, like these kids are in here, you know, getting different treatments, you know, dealing with chemo and surgeries and all this stuff. And they're very aware. Like, you know, there's kids as young as 4, like, okay, today is, you know, transplant day. This is what it's going to be. And have the biggest smiles on their faces, are, you know, thinking about how they can, you know, help other patients on the floor. And, you know, I'm sitting here and it I didn't cry in their presence, but like when I got in my car, I started to cry because I'm like, here I am upset because having a bad day because I had a bad practice because I didn't play well. Like, you know, how selfish is that of me? And so that's when I was like, okay, I need to find a way to help them be kids, because that's all they want to do. They want to be kids. And so I went to our PR department. I was like, hey, I know it's really last minute, but you know, I was talking with some people at the hospital and they said the playroom needs some more toys. I would love to do a toy drive. I was like, even if only 10 people bring something, that's 10 more things or 10 more items that they have. And that's kind of how it started. And so I have done a toy drive every year. This was my 5th year doing it. And like the support behind it, like we have an amazing fan base in Seattle. Like they invest in the players and the players' passions, and they want to be involved with all of it. And they have blown me away with their generosity. And then it started, you know, to trickle to where people were DMing me from, you know, in France and, you know, around the world and other parts of the US. And we're like, hey, where can I send this stuff to? We want to help. We want to donate. And, you know, that for me was like, that meant more to me than winning games on the court. Because now I'm making a difference in someone else's life and I'm helping somebody else. And so that's how my involvement with Seattle Children started. Right now I'm, you know, one of the champions on the campaign for the COVID-19 relief that Detlef Schrempf started. And so, you know, myself, along with other Seattle athletes, have, you know, donated signed memorabilia, experiences, and it's going to be auctioned off all through May. And, you know, all the proceeds that come from that go directly to the COVID-19 relief fund for Seattle Children's. So, Seattle Children's holds a special place in my heart. And, you know, I'm forever grateful for Kim for bringing me up there for a visit to, you know, because she's the one who started this relationship with them.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So would you say that would be your biggest accomplishment as a philanthropist?
For sure. 100%. And it's not something I didn't think it would get to the level that it got to. I was like, oh, you know, maybe some people, because you just never know. But I've been blown away. And even, you know, last year I did a fundraiser for the dialysis unit, because one of my little buddies from there that I've gotten really close to, Daniel, he wanted to help. Again, one of the other reasons, like, here he is, you know, going up for dialysis every week. And he's like, I want to help these other kids on the dialysis unit. And so he was like, you know, they're underfunded. They need some new things in there. And so in honor of him, I was like, hey, bud, guess what? Like, guess what I'm doing in your honor this year? And when I told him, he was like, oh, man. And I was like, this is because of you. Like, you inspired me to do this. And, you know, we raised over $6,000 just specifically for the dialysis unit. And it was really special. Like it's been a really special process and journey with the hospital and my patients that I've become friends with there.
That's amazing. So how
Yeah.
can viewers and myself, how can we help? How can we donate?
So right now, for the COVID-19 Relief Fund, I have the link in my bio on my profile page, as well as Seattle Children's Hospital. They have it up there as well. If you want more information, like more detailed information, you can go there. But the link is on mine, and it gives when you click the link, it'll show you what it's all about, what it's going to benefit, and you can go. And again, it's not just my jersey.
Yeah.
I don't care, people. If you want to get some bit on somebody else's jersey, there's some pretty awesome things. That's great too, because it all goes towards the same cause.
Amazing. Thank you. So I'm definitely going to check it out. Everybody
Okay.
here, make sure to check it out. We watch
Thank
this video.
you.
No problem. So from your Instagram, because I just started following you, it seems like you're coping well with quarantine. How are you able to stay so positive? Like, what's your mantra, or what do you do? What's your secret?
Well, my mantra that I live my life by is always find a positive.
Hmm.
There's always a positive in something.
Yeah.
If you look hard enough. And so that's always I always remind myself of that when I'm going through, because it's not that I don't have struggles. It's not that I don't have bad things happen. It's just the perspective in which I choose to look at them.
Wow.
And so for me, honestly, this being in quarantine right now is what I do overseas. It's what, as female basketball players, when we're overseas for playing, this is what we're doing probably 90% of the time. Because we're away from our families, we're by ourselves, we're in
Yeah.
another country, and we'll get out and venture, see some things. But for the most part, we're chilling at home, we're watching Netflix, we're FaceTiming with friends and family,
Yeah.
so we were kind of I guess prepared for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been, and for me, it's being home with my family. This is the longest I've had at home since college. And it's been over 7 years since I've been home this long. And I just bought a house 2 years ago, and this is the most time I've spent in my house since I bought it. So yeah, I've been staying busy, getting shelves hung up, what I mean? Having, looking and getting my bedroom finally set up, and, organizing my closet and hanging towel racks, just finding little projects around here to do, because I never get I haven't gotten the chance to. And so now it's my house is actually feeling like a home, which I love. So
I think that's really important for people to realize, for a lot of individuals, this quarantine was a freeze on, the busy life. I could definitely say for myself, although I graduate, May 15th, and I'm not going to be able to walk across the stage, school is getting really overwhelming. Okay. Going to class, the season had just ended and we didn't make it to the playoffs. So, it didn't really mess up much with us, but it was getting really overwhelming. I was just I need a break. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the perfect break. So it worked out in my favor. So I could definitely agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's giving everybody the chance to find out what's important to them, giving people a chance to kind of reset. And spend time with family, spend time with friends, get to know your neighbors. You know what I mean? Get to know yourself. What do you like doing when you're not working 800 hours a week?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What helps you calm down when you're stressed? These are all things. And it doesn't matter if you're a college student, if you're a CEO of a company, a professional athlete, it doesn't matter. And I think it's placing importance now on the people who, for instance, healthcare workers and teachers, and even the grocery clerks at the grocery stores,
I think she's frozen. Oh no. I think she got a call. So we're going to get Alysha back in here. Technical difficulties. Just 1 second. She's getting right back in here.
I don't know what happened.
No, it's okay. Listen, this is the part of the whole quarantine situation.
Yeah.
Live videos is happening on Ellen. I saw Ellen DeGeneres' camera go out. So this is just the thing. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't touch anything.
No, it's fine. It just froze. It's fine.
Yeah, but I was just like, it's given us a chance to, I don't know, place importance on the people that we take advantage, not advantage, but take for granted on a daily basis. And I think that's the beautiful part of all this. So yeah, it's been great.
That was a great point. So you talked about activities and things, finding yourself. What activity calms you down or keeps you at ease throughout this time?
For me, reading. I love to read.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Tay. You're so sweet. Hey, Boo. Reading for me is one. Another thing that's very therapeutic for me is cleaning. Like I love to organize and I love like cleanliness. And so, when I feel myself getting stressed, I'm like, let me just go clean the kitchen and do the dishes. Like it'll make me feel better when I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah, like those are two of the biggest things for me right now. Okay. And then I've also started getting into podcasts. Ooh. And so I'll listen to some podcasts about different things just to kind of help my mind stay like not so clouded and bogged down a little bit. Mismatching my clothes. You know what, Casey?
You can name drop some of the podcasts just so, I could
yeah, I mean, so one is called Real Leaders, the Real Leaders podcast. Nice. It's about impact investing. And so just how, as you invest, like you make a difference as well. And so that's something that obviously I care about. So that, I love Oprah's Soulful Conversations. She has a lot of good episodes on there.
Okay.
My pastor has one called Next Level Leaders, and it's just a variety of different topics, but faith-based to how, to deal with everything from a faith standpoint. And I'm trying to think if there's one more. I also like listening to the Global News podcast just because it's, BBC and I like their accents, but it also gives me like a general just overview of what's going on around the world in like a 30-minute listen. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So going back to philanthropy, if it's someone who necessarily doesn't have, the finances to donate, what are some non-financial resources that they could bring to the table to help?
There's so many. Your time is one of the biggest resources that you can give.
Yeah.
Just being there and being present. And that's how it started for me, just showing up and just spending time with someone, spending time with these kids. You can help volunteer, whether at a food kitchen or, we just had some tornadoes that came through here, helping with tornado cleanup. Everything doesn't have to be monetary. You can help serve food right now to the healthcare workers that are at the hospitals. You can be there serving food to them. So just your time, I feel like, is the other biggest, probably the other biggest investment you can make when it comes to philanthropy, is just being there. Because sometimes people just want somebody to listen. Sometimes they just want to be in the presence with somebody and have a conversation. So you can always start there.
Awesome. So what keeps you grounded?
My faith.
Okay.
And it wasn't always like my faith where I'm at now in my walk. I haven't always been here. That wasn't always what kept me grounded. It was always my family and always kind of being the underdog that I was like, I'm always having to work for something. So it reminds me, XYZ.
Yeah.
But as I grew in my faith, and I give credit to my spiritual mentors from Seattle again, like nice. Tanisha Wright and Camille Little and Tamika Johnson were three of the biggest spiritual mentors for me. Wow. In what it meant to walk with God, what that looked like, how to pray and, how to really get into the word. And so once I started growing in my faith, then it was like, you start reading like, like, who am I to act like I'm so high and mighty when, Jesus was being spit on, and so that was kind of like a reality check. And I will never forget this. I was reading a devotional and it was talking about forgiveness. Yeah. And it was like, you know, who are you not to forgive when Jesus forgives you? And I was like, it was like a gut punch because I was like, whoa. And so that was kind of just, I kind of took that in all aspects. Like, you know, how am I going to walk around boasting and bragging when Jesus was the most humble man to ever, you know, walk this planet?
Yeah.
So that for me, now in my 30s, you know, and on, like, that's what's kept me grounded is my faith for sure.
Awesome. So what steps would you say someone can take when they're like you before they found this faith? How can they, you know, come to that realization that that's something that they need in their life?
You know, it's just something as small as opening your Bible app, you know, and finding a devotional that's speaking to where you are now. You know, if you're, you know, new to this, there's so many like Bible plans in there about, you know, beginning your walk with Jesus and what that looks like and can help you through that. Or if you're like, I'm feeling really angry right now, like I'm so angry at whatever, you can search that and there will be a devotional around anger and how to handle it and how to handle it through faith. So I would just say, just start by opening your Bible app and just start by reading devotionals. And even if it's starting as small as like reading the verse of the day, you know, and really meditating on it and trying to understand it. And then my second biggest piece of advice would be find and reach out to a spiritual mentor, somebody that you know is rooted and farther along in their faith than you. That's what I did. And Tanisha Wright was that for me. I remember when I was in Israel, she was in Turkey, and we did a 40-day Lent plan together through email. Every single day emailed back and forth about the verses we read, what we, you know, how we interpreted it, what questions I had, and, you know, did that. But I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for her in that time. You know, she poured into me. And so I would say reach out and find a spiritual mentor and, you know, somebody that you trust, obviously, but just somebody that can help you grow in that way.
Awesome. So who are your greatest heroes and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. Greatest heroes. The first one would be my mother. Just, you know, she has 4 kids. There's 4 of us, and she's kept, you know, her career her entire life, but was still able to balance work and family. You know, you never didn't feel loved. You never didn't feel taken care of. And that's where, you know, that's where I get a lot of my empathy and a lot of my nurturing. Am I here?
Yes, you're here.
Yeah. And then, you know, cause same with, I mean, both my parents, even my dad, you know what I mean? The same thing, like it's not, we didn't grow up wealthy, but we never went without anything. You know what I mean? We were always taken care of. And so those would be my first and foremost. One of my other heroes would be one of my good friends, Tiffany Jackson. She battled breast cancer, fought it the first time, went through everything, chemo, her treatments, without a complaint. You know what I mean? Like she was so strong and resilient through it. And then went on to coach at, you know, her alma mater of Texas and was mentoring young girls, has always been that way. Always caring for others, even when she was going through treatments. And then came back to play. You know what I mean? Even after all of that, came back to play. It was like, you know, I'm not ready to be done yet. And, you know, again, going through chemo and treatments and just like always just pouring into others and, you know, be like, how are you doing? And it's like, I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't matter how I'm doing, you know? And so for me, you know, she has been a friend of mine for years and love her like a sister. And she's like a sister for me, but she turned into a hero for me when, you know, she had her first bout with breast cancer and just went through it like a champ. And I don't know if I would be as strong as she is, you know? And so for anybody that doesn't know Tiffany, go stalk her page and you'll
Yeah,
see just what a beautiful person she is, both inside and out. And, I'm fortunate enough to be able to call her a friend. So, yeah.
that's beautiful. That's amazing. So how would your best friend describe you in 3 words?
I don't know, I almost want to ask her.
Right? What do you think she would say? And then we can ask her, try to compare.
Okay. I would say she would say selfless,
Nice.
driven, and what's a third one? I mean, I think I'm pretty funny.
Okay.
I'm gonna be walking. Let me go see where she's at.
Let's see.
I think I'm pretty funny. Christian? Oh, okay, here we go. I hope she doesn't let me. Now I'm like nervous because what if she's like,
No, shoot. It's
if
probably gonna lie.
if you had to describe me in 3 words, I won't put you on camera. I'm gonna put you on camera if you say something. Just so you guys don't think I'm talking to myself, I'll show you her shirt. This is her. This is our high school shirt.
Hi.
This is from high school. Okay. 3 words. If you had to describe me in 3 words.
3 words? Oh, wow. Kind. Determined. And faithful.
That's good. That's good.
That's why
really
she's
good.
my dog.
Kind and selfless go hand in hand. Determined and
Thank
driven
you.
go hand in hand. That was great. That was great. Amazing. That was great. I mean, it was like synonyms of everything that you said. So honestly, I think you did a great job.
Listen, some of those things can go south real quick.
No, that was great. That was great. So, what would you say your calling is?
Ooh, I'm still trying to figure that out now, but I definitely know, it has to do with caring for others and helping others. That's always been on my heart, just ingrained in me since I was a kid. I've always been that way. So I know something along those lines. And yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been praying a lot about this lately because I've kind of gone through this lull of feeling like I don't know my purpose anymore. I feel like I'm not doing enough. And yeah, so for sure helping people in what capacity, I'm not sure. And then just showing kindness, showing people how to be kind and how to love. I'm a lover at heart. You know what I mean? I love love and I love to make people feel loved. So
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm a Libra, so I love love too.
Okay. Oh, good.
So I feel that. What's your sign?
Yeah. A Cancer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then you're emotional. So
yeah,
you love love. I definitely feel those vibes. So
yeah.
as we know, recently Kobe passed and, the world was distraught. Do you feel like his passing will ignite the support of female athletics just because, him and his daughter passing and he was so, well-versed in female athletics and he was so supportive of us. Do you think that will let other men follow in his lead?
I definitely think it will. Because he wasn't afraid to show his support for women's sports and women athletes. He wasn't afraid to show his daughters, what they could dream to be. And I think that, for him and Gigi to be at, college games and to coming to WNBA games and going to, going to soccer games and just being so involved in women's sports, I think it really shed a light on the importance of it. You know what I mean? And the importance of little girls having something to look up to and dream and to, dream about being one day.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's okay to, have an edge to you. Yeah. And compete and be that competitor and want to be the best. and, you know, kind of just let it be organically that way. And so, I mean, you see it, you know, so many other men are getting on board with wanting to carry on that legacy that he started. And, you know, I'm fortunate enough. I played in France the last 2 years for Tony Parker's team. And, you know, he's also in that boat of wanting to grow women's sports and wanting to help, you know, support it. And so, you know, I think there was an article that he did with Uninterrupted, and was talking about how he and Kobe had sat down when they were in China together last year, and wanting to, you know, really help grow women's sports, you know, and what they could do, what the next steps they would want to be. And, you know, I think that's beautiful. And I think there needs to be more of that, because at the end of the day, like, regardless if you want to, like, regardless if you enjoy it or whatever, like, you have a daughter or a niece or a sister, you know, in your family that, what are you going to tell her? Like, oh no, this is the only place you can be? Like, no, you want to tell her to dream and believe that she can be anything. Definitely. And so having that representation is important. So
that's so true. You took the words, definitely. Well, you said words that I probably couldn't, you know, articulate, but that was me.
Yeah, right.
No,
you're about to be a college grad. You can articulate it just fine.
Thank you. So the last question I have to ask you is, what does being a beautiful baller mean to you?
There's so many different ways you can go with this. I think being a beautiful baller, like, for me, the meaning is, like, the way I look at it is like being beautiful inside. Let your insides match your outsides, and let your actions match your drive.
Ooh, actions match drive. Wow.
You know, because you can be a pretty face, you know, you can be super talented, but if you're not beautiful inside, you're not gonna be beautiful outside. And if you have all this talent but don't have the drive to want to work at it and be better, you're only gonna be, you know, mediocre and at the same level your entire life. So, because you can be a baller on the court, off the court, you know, it has multiple definitions.
Wow. Thank you so much, Alysha.
Yeah.
I have to say, there were so many gems that I just took from this, and replay and start writing them down. Honestly, but thank you honestly for taking your time out of your busy day and just sitting here and talking to us. It really means a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for your questions and, you know, challenging me to think about things. And, you know, this is the first live interview I've done since I've been home. So
yay!
It was a great one. Thank you for making it great.
Yay! Yay, I'm excited now. Yay, awesome. Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely stay in touch, and I'm going to send you this video because I know it's going to go viral and everyone's going to want to see it.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
She's honestly so amazing. And thank you everyone who came and supported Beyond Ballin with LaLa. Her story was so inspiring, and I got so much from it, honestly. So make sure to share this, and we're going to make sure that we have another video next Wednesday. Bye.